Hi and welcome to Movies Suck. I was just perusing around on Cinema Blend and I came across this. Do you care about Star Wars as much as you used to? And this made me think a little bit because when I think about Star Wars now, it reminds me of these Disney movies. And honestly, as far as the movies go, or new movies go, I really don't much care about Star Wars anymore. I mean, I love Star Wars. I care about it in the way that I will defend it to the hilt. I will defend real Star Wars, original trilogy, and to a much, much lesser degree, the prequel trilogy. Much lesser degree, because it's crap. I will also defend the expanded universe to the nth degree. So, old trilogy and expanded universe, they're way up there. Obviously, old trilogy slightly above expanded universe because everything comes from the old trilogy. There is nothing without it. So while the expanded universe does build on the old trilogy, and in a massive, massive way, it doesn't obviously go above the old trilogy. The old trilogy still remains predominant as the major Star Wars work. And then after expanded universe, you have to go down quite a way before you hit the prequel trilogy. A pretty goddamn long way. We're talking, I don't know. How far below me is Australia? And then, obviously, somewhere in the distance from the prequel trilogy, way in the distance, so that you'd need a hell of a good telescope. You'd need some, like, Star Wars macro binoculars. No, they wouldn't be good enough. Hubble telescope? Can you see other galaxies from the Hubble telescope? You need something to find the sequel trilogy. But the question is, do you care about Star Wars as much as you used to? And that got me pondering. Do I care about Star Wars as much as I used to? I mean, yes. Obviously, old trilogy, expanded universe, yes. Prequel trilogy, meh. I don't care about it any more or less than I used to. Sequel trilogy, I don't give a shit. Not even a little one. I checked out on the end of Force Awakens because it was utter woke trash. And that was very clear to me as it progressed through the film. I found myself more and more leaning towards, wow, what is this? And then obviously The Last Jedi. How the hell was Rian Johnson allowed to get away with that? I mean, it's not even Rian Johnson's fault. If you think about it, The Last Jedi is not Rian Johnson's fault. He knew nothing about Star Wars. I don't know if there's anyone else that can attest to that, but who knows him better, since I don't know him at all. But he clearly, from that film, knew nothing about Star Wars, knew nothing about the mythos, didn't care about the mythos, or grounding his film within the Star Wars universe. He just had some characters and some idea he made up in his head without reading anything or watching anything, just a cursory knowledge of the Star Wars universe. And the real fault with that movie was Disney, because Disney greenlit it. They said, go ahead, Rian, make this movie. Now, did Disney read Rian's screenplay? Maybe not. Maybe they were just like, yeah, do whatever you want, it's fine. I mean, Jar Jar Abrams struggled enough with The Force Awakens. All he did was just rip off Lucas. And Rian didn't rip anyone off, but wow, what a cluster. I was going to swear there. I've got to stop swearing so much. When I'm talking about Star Wars, I start swearing. But that was a mess. And I have to admit, I've not actually watched the latest Star Wars film. Rise of Skywalker, just, meh. It's apparently better than The Last Jedi, but that doesn't say much. But back to this guy's question. Let's have a read of the article and see what he has to say. I like Star Wars. I'd describe my interest in it as higher than most other franchises. I've seen each of the movies, most of them multiple times. I can probably name 25 characters, which feels like a high number, at least to me. And I have probably spent between 6 and 10 total hours of my life participating in arguments about where the movies should go. But I do not love Star Wars. Even though I care about the franchise, I cannot in good conscience say I love it because I have seen how much other people love it. I've been to Star Wars Celebration and seen the elaborate costumes and heard people laugh at jokes I didn't get. I'm in it, but I'm not all in. Who is this? This is a guy named Mac Rawdon. I say all that because I think it's important context when I admit I'm neither more or less excited about Star Wars right now than I was 5 years ago. To me, the movies have been a perfectly nice way to spend a couple of hours. I've had some issues. I've watched some moments I've enjoyed. On the whole, it has been a... What is that supposed to mean? I've watched some moments I've enjoyed. I'm sorry, what? On the whole, it has been a completely neutral experience. When I talk to others, however, especially others who openly love Star Wars, their opinions... Oh, God. I hate it when people just cannot write in English in a concise, clear way. Use the correct words, damn it. This is what I get with newspapers these days. You try to read a newspaper and it's full of spelling mistakes and you're thinking, Jesus, the English is obviously not your first language. Learn how to make a full sentence. Their opinions seem to have changed quite a bit. Some of them use words like frustrated and disappointed and have told me they just don't care nearly as much anymore. Others have told me the exact opposite. The new trilogy has opened up completely new plot lines in the larger universe. They are loving The Mandalorian, and their investment in Star Wars has never been more passionate or higher than it is right now. Those people must be insane. Although, the act of loving The Mandalorian, after what's happened with the sequel films, loving The Mandalorian is not that crazy a thing. I think that it's over the top. The Mandalorian is okay. I wouldn't say it's amazing or brilliant or anything, but it's more watchable than anything we've had pretty much since the old trilogy, as far as TV, movies and things go. So, I'm writing this article to try and figure out where the truth lies. I want you to be as honest as possible, both in the poll and in the comment section, about where your head is at right now. Do you care about Star Wars as much as you used to? Are you as much or more in on the fandom right now? Or has your passion slowly lessened as you've gotten older and the franchise has released new movies you might not connect with as much? Well, I think that's probably the problem with most of us. We're just not connecting with these new sequel movies because they're bollocks. They're barely related to Star Wars. It's miserable. I mean, they created a character who can do no wrong, who is amazing, because she's female. And they've created lots of divisive plot lines and mistreated the original characters. I mean, who can forget what happened to Admiral Akbar? Just out the window with you, Admiral! Who gives a shit? Because that's basically the opinion of Disney Star Wars. Who gives a shit? They don't care. Jar Jar Abrams would rather blither on about some flipping mystery box than actually attempt to write a decent movie. Alright, he can make a flashy looking movie. I mean, just visually, they look pretty good on the whole, but there's no depth. There's no real structure. Flash from here to this, to this, to that, to this, to that, to this. Oh, mystery box, this, that, this. Oh, did you know how to see the... It's ridiculous. And it's ruined Star Wars for a lot of people. I'm lucky. Personally, this has not ruined Star Wars for me. It's ruined the movies. I now hear Star Wars movie, and unlike when The Force Awakens was coming out, and I heard, oh, Disney are going to make Star Wars movies, they're bringing back the old cast. Force Awakens, yay, it's going to be exciting, and it was exciting. Right up until about, 20 minutes in, and then you realise, hang on, these are people that just don't give a shit about Star Wars. They're trying to get money off of you. And that's where we are right now. Disney wants money. They want to use Star Wars to get your money. That's pretty much all she wrote. It's very sad. But, personally, I love Star Wars. And I'm probably always going to love Star Wars. I will watch Star Wars. I will watch The Empire Strikes Back. I will watch Return of the Jedi innumerable times. Have watched innumerable times. I mean, A New Hope. How many times have I watched A New Hope? I believe I'd watched A New Hope more than 10 times before I was 10 years old. How many times have I watched The Empire Strikes Back? Wow. The Empire Strikes Back is like a fine wine. It just seems to get better and better. Such a good movie. Return of the Jedi, alright, it's the weakest of the lot. But it has some very, very fantastic scenes. Maybe they should have kept Wookiees rather than Ewoks. Remember, George Lucas wanted to make a fortune on toys, and he did. So Ewoks were all cuddly. Wookiees would have been a lot cooler and more believable. But still a great movie. I will watch that again and again and again. And I will read the books over and over because they're fantastic. At least the expanded universe ones. Anything to do with this new universe, well, who gives a shit? Because the new Star Wars is basically a new Star Wars universe. This is an opposable timeline. We're looking at quantum physics for this or something. I would like to hear from you guys. Does anyone at home still love Star Wars after watching the new sequel movies? I would be fascinated to hear exactly how you feel. Because personally, I still love Star Wars. My love for Star Wars hasn't changed, and I doubt it ever will, no matter how much Disney shit on it. This has been Movies Suck, signing out. Leave a like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.